Yasmin. I'm a speech and language therapist at Symbol. This is just a video to show you some ideas of games that you can play at home with your children. It's just some things that you can find around your house to encourage language development. Today's topic, we're going to focus on describing words. So the first game that you could play is I Spy. You don't need anything for this game. So it's just like your traditional I Spy, but instead of saying I spy with my little eye, something beginning with A, don't forget you're describing. So I spy with my little eye something that is green. It's made of plastic and you can drink out of it. Ta-da! My green water bottle. So it's green, it's plastic, and you can drink out of it. Obviously, you can make that easier or harder by you giving a different amount of clues. Don't forget you can describe it in what it looks like, what it feels like, sometimes what it sounds like, what it's used for, what its function is, where you could find it. So I'll give you another example. I spy with my little eye something that you can find in the kitchen. It's silver. You can put water in it. It's small, it's hard, and you can use it to make a cup of tea. That would be my kettle. So my last clue made it really obvious. You can use it to boil water to make a cup of tea, so that's for the kettle. That's just an idea of things, and just take it in turns. You go first, so you're modelling to the child how to play the game. Just take it in turns. That's a fun way, an easy thing you can do when you're out and about, in the house, in the garden. You can do it with more than 2 players, do it with siblings. The next game is describing tower. So you can use some blocks or some boxes or some books, some empty pots. I'm going to use Tupperware boxes. So the idea is that you think of a topic, a word, or an item, an object, something that you're going to describe, and you're going to build the tower as tall as you can before it falls down. So take it in turns to describe something by putting a piece on the tower. So I'm going to show you an example. So I'm going to describe the word apple. So an apple is something you can eat. And then the next person would go, it is a fruit. And back to me, it is red. It is crunchy. It is smooth. And you can find it in the kitchen. And it grows on trees. So that's always a fun thing to do. Children like building towers and seeing it fall down and don't want to be the one that makes it fall down. So see how high you can build your towers. The next game is using a feely bag. So you can use any kind of bag, a box, anything that you can't see inside of. So I'm going to use a pillowcase. And I've just put some random household objects in the bag. The idea is that you feel inside the bag and you pick something you want to describe to the other person, and they've got to try and guess what you're describing. So I've picked something in my bag. I'm going to feel it and I'm going to describe it. So it is metal. It's hard. You can hear the sound of it if I tap it. It's something you use to eat with. It's round at one end. And so then it's up to you how many clues you give. The child might have already guessed by now what it is. It's a spoon. And then you switch roles and the child will have a go and they can do the same thing. I'll just show you what kind of things I've got in my bag. So just things that I found around the house. So I've got a hat, a spoon, a sock, a hairbrush, a watch, a book, a pen, a tennis ball, and an apple. So So you could do that with random things like that, or if you wanted to keep it into a particular category, you could put all different fruit items in there, you could put different items of clothing, you could put different forms of transport if you've got lots of different toy cars and trains and buses and things like that. So it's completely up to you, and again, you can put as many items or as little items in as you want to make it harder or easier for the child. The next game you could play is called Give Me 6. So the idea is you line up 6 objects on the floor. I need to bring them a bit closer so that you can see. So I'll use these ones that I've already got here. So we've got an apple, my hat, my pen, sock, hairbrush, watch. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's my 6 items. Okay, so what you need is a dice or something for this one. And if you don't have a dice, actually, you can. What I've done here is write some numbers down on some bits of paper, spread them out on the floor and on the table wherever you're playing. Get something like a toy car, roll it along the floor to see which one it lands on, an actual number, or you could use a beanbag and throw it like that. You could also adapt these games and play them in the garden with bigger items, so you could kick your ball towards your number or throw something at something to decide what you're doing. So I've got my 6 items here, I've rolled the dice, and my number is number 6. So I count along 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And I've got to give as many words as I can think of to describe this item. When you're playing with these games with your children, it's always fun to keep a tally, make it into a competition, who's winning, add your scores up at the end. A bit of healthy competition they always enjoy, and again with siblings, that's always fun. So that's Give Me 6. The next activity is I went shopping, or I went to the shops. For this activity, again, you don't need anything. So it's like the traditional game. I went to the shops and I bought. But instead of buying a different item every time, you're going to buy one thing, the first person chooses, and then you're going to describe that each time. So you want to see how far you can get with remembering all those words that you've added on. And the person who forgets is the loser or can't think of anything else to describe it. So, for instance, I went shopping and I bought a hat. So the next person would say, I went shopping and I bought a green hat. Back to you. I went shopping and I bought a soft green hat, etc. So you just carry that on for as long as you can. And again, you could make it into a competition to see who is the first person to forget all the answers or can't think of anything else to add onto the list. Another game you could play is 20 questions. This might be better with older children. So you could think of an item. You could pull something out of your feely bag, gather some items together so that they can think of it, or you could just keep something in your mind. You could use pictures to choose from, and your partner's got 20 questions to ask you about it. So they've got to be yes or no questions, so you can only answer yes or no. So for example, say this was my item that I thought of. My partner could ask me, is it something that you eat? No. So don't forget to keep account of how many questions have been asked, or you could write them on a piece of paper or on a board or something. So is it something you can eat? No. Is it something you can wear? Yes. Is it something you can wear on your head? No. Is it something you can wear on your legs? No. Is it something you can wear on your arms? No. And as you can see, you can go on with that. So you've got 20 questions to try and guess the object, and then take it in turns and switch roles to see who is the winner overall. The last thing that you can do is just when you're out and about, describe things together. Pick an object or pick something you can see and just think of as many describing words as you can together about that thing or something really interesting that you've seen on your day out, and then report back to somebody back at home, like, a sibling or a parent that wasn't there with you, even a friend, to say, oh, this is what I saw, it looked like this, 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 and this. Just another way of practicing your describing words. So that's it for today. The topic was describing words. I hope you find that useful, and it gives you some ideas of some things you can do with some items that you can find around your house. Thank you.